Welcome to the Wow MD podcast, where in each episode you will get in 30 minutes or less valuable pearls about holistic wellness, anti-aging, hormone therapies, beauty trends, and other facts you should know about our medical healthcare system and your health that no one is telling you. My name is Dr. Mirala Chernayanu. I am a conventional board-certified OBGYN physician who, after the loss of my father due to a careless and uncaring medical team, decided to retrain and seek certification in anti-aging and restorative therapies. What I know, I am happy to share with you. Hello there, and Happy New Year. This podcast episode is the first episode of 2026. So I'd like to welcome and start this new year, first of all, by thanking every single one of you, my faithful listeners, for being there every week during the weekend, mostly Fridays, when I release a new episode or whenever you are able to tune in. I'm really extremely grateful for all of you who have decided you have the time and the willingness to leave me a review or to personally tell me when you get to meet me for the first time or you come in for a return visit that you are a listener and that you love my podcast. So I do want to start this new year, 2026, with a very, very big thank you. I also would like to start this new year with a special episode discussion about health goals. Now, this is in keeping with everybody's New Year resolution, right? So there's a theme here. But I sincerely hope that this initial episode about health goals will continue with a stronger trend that's going to hopefully help set you up for achievable and highly beneficial wellness goals and provide you with better tools to allow you to achieve these health goals, whatever they are, not just for 2026, but for all and many more years to come. I know this is a big lofty goal for myself, but I promise I will do my best. So this episode will address how prioritizing self-care can be the most important tool in achieving optimal well-being and a true state of health. So why does prioritizing self-care matter? And what do I mean when I talk about self-care? Don't worry, I'll answer these two questions in this episode. If you are one of my faithful listeners and you wait for the episode that's being released every Friday, you might have noticed I decided not to record an episode during the weekend after Christmas. My favorite recording time is obviously during the weekend because that is the only time that I don't spend taking care of patients, catching up on charting, managing the business of running a medical practice, or not necessarily hanging out with my family and my dog. In general, my day starts very early in the morning, and all the time I have from the moment I wake up until I go to bed is literally scheduled, planned, and allotted to very specific activities. For example, I start walking my dog 2 miles a day, and I practice yoga, not every day, but maybe 4 to 5 times a week, immediately in early morning. Then I move on to my busy practice. I take care of patients. I run the practice, usually from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Then I just go home and cook some dinner and relax for the evening. Now, I do other things that are not involved in taking care of patients or running the practice. I'm working on a book. By the way, I'm writing a book, which I hope to finish in the next 3 to 4 months. I'll let you know more about it. I work on my podcast. I work on social media topics, on marketing, and all kinds of other things. But I do it all before 9 a.m. or after 6 p.m. or during the weekends. And obviously, I love what I do. I don't really see it at work, which is important for my mind and my soul's well-being, because I had to stop doing some of the fun activities I used to love, like traveling, taking weekend trips to wine country, playing golf a lot. Once we became parents to our fur baby, all of that kind of stopped. Having a dog created additional pressure on my time, and my life changed substantially. Obviously, I don't have children, and my husband and I treat Scarlett, our red lab, like our child. We believe it is important to spend time with her. She gets at least 2 hours of exercise every day. She gets only home-cooked food, which I cook for her, as well as plenty of playtime with both of us. We love her, so we don't really see the change in our lives as a loss, rather an adaptation to new, loving moments and creating wonderful memories by spending time in her company. Now, this very short incursion into my schedule was simply meant to demonstrate how busy life can get and how life can and will steal our time, mainly the time we get to spend on self-care. So why is self-care important? There are so many reasons, and simply enumerating them here for you is not going to give the self-care all the credit it deserves. So I'm going to use a different approach. Why do I want to talk to you about self-care today, starting the new year in 2026? Well, because many people ignore self-care and do not intentionally dedicate time to spend on their own self-care. Some of us do and realize self-care is important. And even if you're one of these people, keep listening. I might still have some tips for you. Again, we are all guilty of this. And why do we not dedicate a lot of time for self-care or don't prioritize it? Because we always place other people's well-being above our own. And this is very, very true when it comes to women. It is deeply ingrained in our psyche to be givers. We give, and sometimes we give until there's nothing left to give to ourselves, especially when it comes to our time. So anticipating the need for rest, I decided to take a break from recording a podcast episode for one weekend. I realized there will be no time to record on the weekend I would normally do it, which would have been the weekend before the new episode will be released on Friday. And sometimes I record a batch of episodes, but not always because I don't have the time. I did do that right before I left on vacation, but because I took a 2-week vacation at the end of December, my flight landed at 9:30 p.m. on Sunday the 28th. By the time the luggage was delivered, we drove home and got ready for bed. It was midnight. Guess what? I had a cesarean section scheduled for 7:30 a.m. on Monday the 29th. And I had a full day at the office, and the social media coordinator who records my video footage was coming Monday after the workday to get the scheduled batch of recordings. Needless to say, there was no opportunity to record an episode in time for any kind of release the weekend of the new year. So I made my peace with it and focused on how much value I could provide with my podcast in 2026. So this is where I want to tell you about one of my top goals for 2026 when it comes to my health, which will be allowing myself the proper time to rest. I'm a doctor and I'm a business owner. Therefore, by default and by definition, I never have time for myself unless I make time. I always have pushed myself to be last at the bottom on the enormously long list of obligations and goals of daily things I have to do to be successful, to feel fulfilled, to be able to run an efficient, results-driven team, and to be able to run a profitable business and take care of my family and my fur baby. Now, this year, and maybe every year going forward, I decided I will focus on proper time to rest and give myself some peace and much needed activities, which will allow me to restore my inner balance. Now, I know this is a very lofty, maybe unattainable goal. I'll keep you posted on how I'm able to comply with it. But it brings me to the topic of today's episode because I wanted to do something special for the first episode of the new year and hopefully help all of you, my dear listeners, commit to the path of self-care. Because self-care matters greatly. We live in an absolutely and insanely demanding world. We are all surrounded by a culture of achievement. I'm not saying that in a bad way. It is good to achieve things. But this culture of achievement pushes us to do more, to want to have more, and to spend more and more time pursuing our goals. We live in a world where everyone is able to freely advertise their success or good fortune in achieving wealth or success on the World Wide Web in various forms and shapes. Whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Substack or YouTube or TikTok, it doesn't matter. All of these successful people are inviting you to buy and use their strategy for wealth or success, whatever that is. And millions of people do just that, especially at the beginning of the year. You hear things like, this might be the year where you become a millionaire. This might be the year for your business transitioning from a 7 to 8 figure business. This might be the year you lose those pesky 30 pounds. This might be the year you start your dream business, so on and so forth. Obviously, our financial goals are very important to all of us because in order to survive in today's materialistic society where everything has a price and a cost, you do have to have some degree of financial success. Few people understand and realize that in order to reach your financial goal, you have to be at the top of your game. Very few people realize that their capacity to handle stress, to handle and manage adversity, and successfully navigate all of life's challenges will totally impact their ability to reach their goals. How can you consider reaching the success you want financially or in your personal life when you are constantly tired, unfocused, forgetful, and more so when you are anxious, grumpy, irritable, or depressed? Many online promise help, the hidden path to feeling and looking better and becoming independently wealthy. And we all want to believe it is possible and true. But very few of us are keenly aware that mental health and physical strength and resilience are key attributes needed to be successful, regardless of the strategy that someone is going to teach you or to reveal for you or to help you with. So yes, developing and following healthy habits will pave your road to success. Obviously, eating healthy, exercising daily, and getting enough restorative sleep will boost your immunity. Your strength and stamina will fortify your endurance to stress and increase the energy you need to reach your goals. So self-care is not just important, it's absolutely necessary to be successful. Now, you're still skeptical and don't believe me? Well, having success, whether in business, career, or personal life, requires that you are the best person that you can be. It is impossible to be kind, to be nice or understanding with your life partner, your boss, your colleagues, your employees, or any new acquaintances who can turn into potential business or career or personal life opportunities when you are burnt out, when you feel resentful and bitter about your life and your circumstances, when you overextend yourself, or when you live stuck in a pattern that pulls you away from what matters, when you are constantly distracted and occupied by 10,000 things you need to do, or 10,000 things you believe you need to do. We all love someone or something. However, consider the fact that your love for that someone or something cannot and will not be fully received if it's wrapped in bitterness or exhaustion, and it will not be appreciated fully, if at all, when it's offered with a distracted mind or in a manner where you are not fully present in the moment because your attention has drifted already to your next target or the next to-do on your list. And this is why self-care matters. Self-care protects your family and your career, protects your business, and guarantees your success. You need self-care in order to start your day fresh with renewed energy. You need self-care if you are going to be able to focus and concentrate on what matters, and in order to care for others. So what does self-care look like, and how can we get more of it? Well, self-care can and will be very different for every single one of you. For me, it means walking my dog every day, being able to do or go to attend a yoga class every day, nourishing my body with healthy meals, plenty of water, and I love herbal tea. Having an herbal tea once or twice a day makes me feel really good. Surrounding myself with people I care about and people I love spending time with. Having time to read a book, having time dedicated to writing my book, getting a massage, learning new things, playing pickleball with friends, and last but not least, sleeping well at least 6 to 7 hours a night. Also, self-care for me means having my hormones balanced and optimized with hormone therapy. I am a woman and I am 10 years past menopause, and I swear my hormones help me feel younger and more vibrant. I go to yoga sculpt classes. I see 20, 30-year-olds who are having a hard time keeping up, while I keep going and I use heavier weights than they do. I couldn't do it if it weren't for my hormones. So how does self-care in general look like? Well, anything that promotes your well-being, mentally, physically, and spiritually, will be self-care. For example, spending time engaging in a hobby is self-care. Spending time with a loved one and connecting to family and friends is self-care. Saying no to other people, especially mean, nasty, and toxic people, and setting boundaries in your life is actually self-care. So in the spirit of providing educational content that this topic deserves, let me be more clear about self-care. Let's start with the physical self-care. Obviously, physical self-care implies eating a healthy, nutritious diet and maintaining hydration throughout the day. Getting enough restorative sleep, a minimum of 7 hours every night. Engaging in daily physical activity you enjoy, which should reflect your best abilities and passions. For example, maybe you garden every day for 1 hour. Maybe you love walking. Maybe you love yoga like I do. Maybe you want to participate in a Tai Chi or Qigong class in the park or in a community. Maybe Zumba class is more your style. Maybe a workout in the gym with a personal trainer is where you feel your best, or following the guidance of a personal trainer the other days when you don't meet with a personal trainer and you have a routine. For some, it could be kickboxing or another form of martial arts. As long as you engage in some form of regular daily movement for at least 45 minutes to an hour, you are contributing to your physical self-care. Last but not least, physical self-care is about maintaining health. Your physical health should be optimal and you should be free of disease. However, if you suffer from any physical conditions like arthritis, osteoporosis, heart disease, hypertension, chronic headaches, etc., you should make the time to manage all the health challenges properly by going to see a healthcare professional that can help you overcome all of these health challenges. So, diet, sleep, exercise, and taking care of your body from a medical standpoint. That is self-care physically. I could take a while and talk about the importance of hormones in physical self-care, but I have an episode coming up pretty soon about optimizing hormone therapy, so I'll reserve that topic for the future podcast. But believe me, taking care of your hormones, it is an absolute mandatory self-care activity. Just a few tips on mental self-care. Meditation is an excellent self-care tool. I think we're all guilty of not doing as much meditation as we should. And it could be just super simple. Just 1 or 2 minutes in the morning before you even get out of bed. 1 to 2 minutes at night when you lay down and you go through all the day activities and you express some gratitude for what went well and make a commitment to fix what didn't go well. Mindfulness, breathing exercises, spending time engaged in a hobby, specifically creative hobbies like painting, listening or composing music, writing a book, writing poetry, reading books, reading poetry, playing a game. All of these are great mental self-care. Now, I love this and I wish I had more time to spend in it and doing it. But trust me, every weekend I do it. Learning something new. It's always a great way to practice self-care. And there's always a bonus at the end of it. You learned something new. You got better. A very important self-care activity will be really practicing time away from the digital overload of today's world. This would be an excellent way to take care of yourself. We are bombarded with so much useless information that is making, unfortunately, our brain completely overwhelmed and incapable of making good decisions, sometimes incapable of making any decision, and is contributing to the inability to stay focused on what really matters. So, digital detox, people, it's an excellent way to practice self-care. Mental self-care is intimately tied in to positive thinking. It's an absolute must. If you always look at the glass half empty, please change that and look at it as a glass half full. I personally believe in practicing gratitude as an excellent way to heal our mind from all the things we believe we want, but we don't really need. It will make us focus on how valuable what we actually have is, so we can cherish it better. And again, last but not least, spiritual self-care. So we did body, mental, spiritual. Why spiritual and why is it not bunched in with the mental? Because spiritual self-care, it's about connecting with something higher than ourselves. For that to happen, for that connection, you need to spend as much time as you can with the people you love, with the people who support you, or with the pets you have adopted. This means staying away and avoiding or eliminating completely the toxic people in your life, the ones who drain your resources. And after any encounter with them, whether by phone or in person, you are left exhausted and upset. Spend as little time as possible with these people. Spend time connected to a community, either by faith, to a church, which includes spending time in prayer. All of this is healing for the soul. And for those of you who are more agnostic, just engage with neighbors or join groups that have shared interests. Volunteer for a worthy cause. All of this is actually self-care and nourishes your soul. Now, I didn't really mean to give you a lecture on self-care, but I find extremely interesting the fact that not a lot of people decide that their health and overall wellness is something worthy to pursue as a main goal as a New Year's resolution. By that, I mean everybody has a New Year's resolution of going more to the gym, eating better, maybe starting this diet that we've been looking at and thinking about to lose the pesky 10, 20, 30 pounds we've been carrying around. However, research shows that 90 to 95% of people who set up New Year resolution goals, they do work out and exercise more, and they do eat better all the way into the end of January, mid-February, the latest. The truth is 90 to 95% of people fail to follow through and only give their lofty New Year resolution goals sometimes just a few weeks, maximum 6 weeks into the new year, and then it all fizzles out. So when I talk about health goals, I'm not talking about exercise, eating healthier. You all know these are very important aspects of a healthy lifestyle. I'm not necessarily talking about self-care. I've talked a lot about that. But I also would like to touch on a very interesting subject that I think more people need to know more of, which is the topic of your health insurance. But I will close this episode here and come back next week. I sincerely hope the point of how important self-care is will stay with you. And I really hope that you will move each week into 2026 thinking about this episode and this specific topic that I picked to be the first episode of the year, and ask yourself every weekend when my new episode comes on, how did I do practicing self-care this week? How am I staying healthy? How am I nourishing my body, my mind, and my soul? Thank you for trusting me with your time, and thank you for listening to today's episode. If the content I provided wowed you, was helpful and valuable to either you or someone close to you, please do me a favor and leave me a review. I am very open and welcome any kind of feedback as well as suggestions on any content ideas, so please forward those suggestions to Jessica, my patient care coordinator, through our website, herabeautyandwellness.com. And I look forward to our time together next episode.